Why do so many creepy stories happen in the woods? We're about to find out because this week we have 3 more stories. But first, welcome back to Plastic Lounge Podcast. I am Grits and I'm joined by Messiah.
Yo.
And Rebel. What's up, boys?
Hi. What up, man?
Hi.
What up?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm excited for this episode, bro. I'm so excited.
We were each tasked with getting one creepy woods story, whether it be paranormal or not. Each one of them's a banger, so strap in. Rebel's up first.
Oh, hi, it's me. So we're about to dive deep. I want everyone, all the audience people right now, just to strap in, because this is gonna be a roller coaster of emotions. Okay, let's bring it to you guys. Have you guys heard of the missing 411 cases?
Of course.
You guys know what that's about? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, pretty much missing 411 cases are, I think it was 411 people that went missing in the national forests. Originally 411, and they had no documentation about them missing. They don't know where they went. They just vanished. So I have a case where we follow this lady that was, she vanished pretty much. But unlike all the others, in the woods, in the national forest, but unlike all the others, she came back. They found her. And the story is way worse.
Wait, how'd they find her? She came back, or they were in the forest and we're like, there she is?
We'll get to that. All right. We'll get to that.
I see her.
I see her.
Ain't that missing lady?
It's pretty much what happened. That's pretty much the whole story. But so let's dive deep into this. So back in the day, about 20, I think it was 21 years ago, there's a girl named Haley ZEGA, and she was on a hike in Arkansas at the Buffalo National River, a little bit north of it, or give or take, whatnot. She's just walking on a hike with her grandparents, as one does with family. They're just out there enjoying life. And she's 6 years old at this time. Granted, she's very, very young. And she sees a waterfall over the horizon. And she's like, yo, grandma and grandpa, I want to go to this waterfall. I'm young. I want to see cool shit. We all want to do that. And so her grandparents were like, no, we're very high up on a cliff. We don't want to go down there. It's dangerous to go down there. And so pretty much they're like, no, we're not doing this at all. And so Haley, being a child and being young, threw a tantrum. She was like, I'm not going to move unless we go down there. You guys are going to have to carry me or something. And her grandparents are like, we're not going to carry you. We're not going to do that. So pretty much they're like, you know what? Stay. We're going to keep going. It's up to you. Doing what grandparents do. And
nice.
So
risky. She's only 6, right? This is risky.
Fucking mistake, Grandma.
Well, she's 6, dude. But at that point, let's be real. 6-year-olds know what they're doing. They're somewhat intelligent at that point. But you're walking, and the grandparents weren't being crazy. They're looking back, making sure she was there. But they would just keep going, keep checking back. And they checked back one time and she was gone. And so they panicked, went back there trying to find her, could not find her. They thought she was hiding behind a tree or something. Obviously oh, I'll show them. No, she was gone. They searched for 90 minutes. And I feel like that's too long personally for a child. For a child, yeah. I feel like that's a little bit long, but I'm not judging. It's a panic situation.
Wait, are you saying that they should have 90 minutes? They should have went only 60 minutes
before calling someone.
Yeah, they took them 90 minutes to call the police.
I thought you were saying they should have spent a shorter amount of time searching for her. I'm like,
too long,
up, bro. Too
15
long,
minutes tops. She's gone. Forget about her.
Yeah, just forget it.
No, so they spent 90 minutes searching for this 6-year-old child in the middle of a national forest. And granted, it was seconds. It only took seconds for her to disappear. And this led to the largest search and rescue mission in the history of Arkansas.
Wow.
They pulled out all the stops on this one. Because let's be real, it's a child missing in the woods. The rate of survival on that is very, very slim.
Definitely.
So rolling back, we all know, obviously, like I said before, Haley was rescued. They found her in these woods. So in her recollection was that she obviously was throwing a tantrum, and then she tried to get up and follow her grandparents, but she lost sight of them, tried running to them, but went the wrong way. And so obviously there's if you're going the wrong way, she's obviously running away from her grandparents at this point. And her being 6 years old, she was like, I should have stayed there, just stay in that one spot. But with her, her child brain, she said, she was like, you know what? I got to get
Was this years later? She's
yes.
accounting for this kind of thing?
This is years later. So she was like, hey, I need to get to this river because I'm lost at this point. She's like, I'm going to come up with a plan. And like I said, she was young, but she's old enough to come up with a set plan on what to do. She's like, I need to get to the river. Once we get to the river, we're going to follow it down. It's going to eventually bring us to society. She's like, I'm going to find a gas station and I can call my parents, which is a reasonable thing to do. And it's crazy that she thought of that as a 6-year-old. That's something
like a Bear Grylls.
Dude, that's something I would do. Yeah. But also, apparently it's the wrong thing. She said, she was like, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Just stay put and the people will find you. But as she's doing that, like I said, in order to get to the river, she has to go down a giant cliff. And she manages to get down this giant cliff. She's at the river. She made it there in a day. One day, got to the Buffalo River. And so she's like, you know what? I got to start walking. She could hear the helicopters at this point. The helicopters are out there searching for her. She's like, I need to get found. It's getting dark out there. I'm going to look and see if I can find a spot for where the helicopters can find me. And so she looks out into the river and she sees this rock, a big rock in the river. And so she's like, they'll easily be able to find me. There's no tree cover. There's nothing. And so she swims out to this rock in almost at nighttime. And I don't know if you guys know, it's very hot out there in the day. So the river probably feels amazing, but at nighttime it gets extremely, extremely cold. And so she's out there in a bathing suit almost, freezing her ass off. At night, she could not sleep. She can see the helicopters flying above her. They did not see her. She's not in bright clothes or anything. She's blending into the environment. And so, long story short, she did not sleep that well that night. The next morning, she wakes up. She realizes, hey, this isn't a dream. I didn't sleep, really. I'm in this situation. She goes back to the shore. She swims back to shore at this point. She's walking and just walking and walking. At that point, she's getting delirious. She's hungry. She's starving because this entire time she refused to eat berries or food or anything. She didn't have food. She didn't want to drink random shitty water. So she didn't do that. And so she's starting to get extremely weak. And then a miracle happened. She's sitting at this little area and 2 dudes come up on mules.
Mules, bro?
Like a mule?
Mules.
1800s?
Dude, this is not 1800s. They come up on mules. You want to know why? Because they've been living in that area. They know that area the back of their hand. They're dudes that just left society and were all right, we're going to be able to handle our own. And they're we found this little girl out in the wilderness. And so what happened was it's a child there. It's whatever. It's kind of weird, but we're just going to say hi and move on. And they get to the society pretty much. They get to society and they're yo, we're pretty sure we found the girl you guys are looking for, because they were not part of the search party at all.
Yeah.
The search party was out there doing their thing. They went to the police. They're we think we found the person.
Why didn't they nab her up?
Yeah, what? They're going back to... I'm so confused right now. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
So the reason they didn't nab her up because they didn't know if that was her.
mean, if you see a little,
I feel like regardless.
Hey, this is real life events. All right.
Okay,
all I know is
okay.
these people are heroes because they went to the cops.
True.
And the police were like, "You guys are crazy." They're like, "This child, the person you're talking about, is so far off of like the area we need to be searching that like it could not possibly be her. Like, it's a 6-year-old girl. Why would she be so far out?"
What's going on in Arkansas, man? The cops are like brushing off like hot leads of a missing girl.
It like fits the description and the age. They're like, "Oh, you boys go back into the woods."
You're
like,
crazy. We're not even gonna investigate that.
I'm pretty sure that's not how they talk. But
sorry, Arkansas people. I'm sorry.
You know what the fuck it is.
But pretty much you don't know where Arkansas is.
What?
Never mind. I'm just kidding.
But sure, yeah. But pretty much they were like, all right, well, no one's helping us. And granted, I can understand why the police were like, this is crazy, because she was so far gone. Like, she was so like away from where she was supposed to be. I don't know the exact distance, but like she was gone enough to like pretty much warrant that like reasoning of that can't be her.
Right. It was probably like hundreds of miles or something.
Well, I want to say hundreds, but like she was gone. Put that much.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, the police aren't helping. And there's this random child in the woods. We're going to go back. And so they go back on the goddamn mules, hopping along, doing their shit. And they find her, like they find her again. And they're like, "Yo, are you Haley ZEGA? Like, people are looking for you." And she's like, "Yes, that's me. Help me." And so they're like, "We got you." They put her on the back of the mule. They give her a Diet Coke, granted, a Diet Coke and some pudding, because she hasn't been eating anything this entire time.
Dude, that's a good first
Wait,
snack.
hold on. I have a quick question. How long is where you just left off, where the pioneer and the settler guys found her again, and they're taking her back with pudding? How much time before her grandparents just abandoned her?
They didn't abandon her.
I mean, come on. How are you going to leave a 6-year-old in a national park? That's sketch, bro.
So
Been holding my kid's hand.
What was
dude.
the timeline? But
yeah, how much is like when they found her? Do you know how much like time passed?
So
you said like she hasn't been eating and stuff. Has she been out there days, weeks, months?
So she was gone 52 hours, is what I read.
So
maybe longer.
That's a decent amount of time.
That's a decent amount of time, dude. 52
hours. Being
hours.
6 years old. Yeah.
Like a child in the like woods in a forest.
Yeah.
And so they brought her back, and they're like, those people, the mule people, were like almost like saviors. Like they were saviors. They're like, "Hey, these people are amazing. Fuck the cops. These people are amazing." And she treats them as like heroes today. And why I know this is because she's public about this. She's been on multiple interviews, and she also has a YouTube channel where she went over her whole story and everything. And now you could say, "Hey, this isn't crazy. This isn't a missing 411 case. They know where she was."
Yeah.
It gets weirder.
I was about to say, what makes this weird? I'm really confused. This is like the most basic story. Sorry.
You're right.
All right. What makes this weird, bro?
So she wasn't alone this entire time. The moment she was missing, she was not alone. She had an imaginary friend that she called Alicia.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
And she was there from, like I said, from the beginning to her getting to like rescued at that point. She was the one that told her how to get down to the river from the like cliff. The bluff is what they called it. It was a bluff, and you had to go down in order to get to that river. This bluff was 200 feet tall, and there was only one way that was safe to get down. It was a little girl. She had black hair. She had brown eyes. She was 4 years old. She was just there in the woods helping her. She was like, "This is where you need to go. I'm going to lead you to the area that's going to get you down this mountain safely." And so she led her there, and she like physically helped her down this hill, this mountain, this cliff, so she didn't hurt herself. She told her where to go on the river. She pretty much was there helping her, playing games with her, singing songs with her so much that Haley ended up singing the songs that she taught her.
Wow.
And it was like a calming experience for her.
She calls it an imaginary friend. Like, she wouldn't know it's imaginary, right?
Yeah, she wouldn't know. That's what she called it. She was like, it's imaginary friend. She doesn't know what to call Alicia at this point. But all she knows was that it was a calming, nice presence. And so this story, obviously, it went to like the newspaper. It's the biggest search and rescue party ever, and it was successful. And so people get a hold of this, and they're like, yo, this is fucking crazy. 23 years ago, there was another missing child in that same area. 4 years old, black hair, brown eyes, and her name was the only thing that was fucked up. It was Alana. But it matches every single description. And she died on that bluff like 23 years ago.
Forever to roam the bluff until one day.
We don't know if it's a ghost. We don't know what it is. She doesn't know what it is. But all she knows is that she was helped the entire time until she found a way out.
Hell yeah, dude. I had a feeling as soon as you said the imaginary friend thing, I was like, oh, watch, this girl's she's gonna be a previous victim of the bluff. The
bluffs, dude. I was reading it. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And it's so real that like, it's like there's videos of like she's talking about it. And I'm like, what? It's like, it's the weirdest thing. I'll link her channel. I'll link the video in our description so you guys can go check it out.
That's crazy.
That is fucking nuts.
All right. What do you got, Messiah?
Oh shit. It's my turn?
Your turn, brother.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. I got something interesting for you guys today. Okay. Now when I think about our podcast here, and when we're thinking about like mystery topics and shit like that, goes back a couple episodes ago, right? All these guys talking about ghosts and whatnot. You know what I talked about? A shark attack. Okay.
Yeah. You're always the one to ground us.
I'm a little bit more grounded. I do really find mythical things, I guess, interesting, for sure. And I'm open-minded, but I like to do something that's terrifying and scary, but a little bit more factual. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
It's not factual about mine. Hold on. What's up? What are you trying to say?
I have a lot of questions for that, but I would rather Haley to come on and I can ask her directly. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yeah. Anyways, I got a question for you guys. Okay. What do you guys feel about bears?
I could probably fight one if it was small.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, here we go.
Dude, I can definitely fight a small one. I think, if
like a cub, like a baby bear.
No, like a
baby,
like an adolescent, maybe. I could fuck one up. Yeah, I think. But other than that, no. Like a brown, maybe like a big grizz or something like that. No.
Big grizzly bear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is 100% a factual thing. Okay. There's a bear called the giant short-faced bear. These things are ginormous. Okay. These things were the largest carnivore mammals ever to live in NA, North America, ever.
What time period?
They were in the Ice Age period.
So man existed.
Humans did exist, correct. There were people that were alive during this time period.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let me break down this bear. Okay. Let me just put this in perspective, and then we'll get into kind of what happened here.
All right.
They say that this bear, this giant short-faced bear, lives pretty much all North America, as south is like Minnesota area, and then as north is like far Canada and Russia, and like where it like touches up there.
Yeah.
So long stretch, more of an Arctic kind of bear. Okay. This bear, they say, was twice the size of a polar bear. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
If you guys don't know, polar bears are the biggest bears.
I was going to say, aren't they the biggest?
They're so
Yes.
fucking big, dude. They're like the size of a car.
This thing was twice the size of a polar bear. Okay. Not only was this thing massive, it had really extremely long limbs, almost like cat-like.
Oh, that's
Cat
terrifying.
bears.
Fucking cat bear, dude.
Their claws were 8 inches long per claw. 8 inches, bro. That's... Whew. While they're standing on their hind legs, they were 15 feet tall.
Oh my God.
That's 5 feet taller than a polar bear. Standing on all fours, that thing would look a 6-foot man square in the eye. Okay?
Fucking fight it, dude.
This thing is ginormous. Okay. And you're probably thinking, wow, this thing's huge. Not only was it huge, bro, this thing was fast as fuck. Okay. Bears, typical grizzly bears, polar bears, everything, they're pigeon-toed. They can't really run and walk too much on their hind legs. You see them do it all the time, but they can't consistently do it.
Yeah.
These bears were straight-toed, meaning they were almost human-like in a way, where they could walk and run in a straight line and quickly.
Oh my God, dude. They would like bipedal run.
Yes.
Wait, what?
That's crazy.
Just imagine a 15-foot bear running at you, dude.
And this is all proven, bro. You can literally look this up in like the history of like wherever you look up species. This is crazy,
Dude.
right? It gets better. Okay, these things could run over 40 miles per hour.
Jesus Christ.
40 miles per hour while weighing over a ton. They weigh 2,000 pounds, bro. Could run 40 miles per hour while standing up, being 15 feet fucking tall.
Jesus Christ.
Insane.
Absolute tank.
The visuals I have right now are insane, dude. Just like I'm just picturing like a bear, but like running like on a track. Just like a straight track runner.
Like running.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not quite like that, because they would definitely they're still bears. They fight on all fours, you know?
Yeah.
They would stand up and run at them as almost like a gorilla style. They would run up and scare them because they were so massive. Nothing else was bigger than them. They would primarily feed on mammoths, bison,
dude, mammoths.
Anything big, right? Because these things are 2,000 pounds. Imagine trying to feed that thing, right?
Yeah.
These things went extinct, okay?
Do we know how?
They died off at the same time. I actually have the exact year. They died off around 12,000 years ago from today, during the megafauna, when all the megafauna died. That's all like the woolly mammoths and shit like that.
So
they died off.
Age.
Yeah, probably with the mammoths and stuff. Okay.
Exactly. And a lot of it had to do with the ecosystem, but a lot of it had to do with the evolution of humans and being able to track migration patterns of animals. And we were killing the bison before they could get to them.
Oh.
Big brain.
So we were kind of outsmarting them a little bit. And there's tales and drawings all over the place of giant bears standing up, like kind of the caveman era, right?
Yeah.
So, if you guys know anything about kind of the world and the history and how the continents moved and migration patterns of humans, a big part of the migration pattern was humans actually going up through the Canada area today, up to the Bering Strait. At one point in time, there was an actual land bridge that you could walk from North America now to Asia into Russia. Now there's a Bering Strait, which is separated by water, which
You can still see Russia.
you could
there.
still see
Yeah.
Russia from one side, 100%. But at one point in time, it connected. And the humans at the time realized that they needed to migrate. It was very cold there. They didn't know what was going on. You know, if they keep going, it might be warmer on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they go. But remember what I said earlier. These bears migrated from Minnesota, range from Minnesota up into that area. there are horror stories, and obviously this happened so long ago, there's not like footage, you know what I'm saying? But there's tales of these giant 15-foot bears murdering hundreds of people at a time.
Oh my God.
It's an absolute unit.
They would go into these groups of people, and it was like a feeding frenzy. And they would be good, and there would be a pack of these bears.
Jesus, an army.
Imagine a baby.
Oh, they were pack animals?
They were more pack animals than a traditional grizzly bear today. Correct.
Gotcha.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
they hunted together. So you would commonly imagine you were out there hunting bison, and you look and you see two giant short-faced bears standing running at you.
Hopefully they take the bison over you at that point.
So they're extremely predatory, all this stuff. They all died out, Ice Age. But this is where the topic itself fits the narrative of what we talk about, boys. Let me hit you with some shit, okay?
All right. Okay.
A couple dates for you. 1864. A naturalist, I think they call him. He's just like a study of nature at the time. Received a skull and skin from a bear that somebody killed. I believe it was in Canada. In 1864, and at the time with the technology they had, they pretty much were like, this is the skin in the skull that we have is unlike any other bear. These giant short-faced bears have a very specific like teeth pattern with their canine teeth, and their skulls are like a little bit obviously like short. They call it short-faced bear for a reason.
Because their snout, they don't have like a huge snout. Exactly.
Yeah. So they got this skull and they're like, what the fuck? This isn't a grizzly bear, right? So, mind you, these bears were supposed to be extinct 12,000 years ago. That's 1864. Now we're going to fast forward to 1920 real quick. Zoologist by the name of Sten Bergman, right, got a hold of kind of a similar type situation where he believed that he actually had a giant short-faced bear in 1920. Okay. Obviously, technology at the time isn't what it is today. There's a lot of kind of ifs and ands, you know, etc. But this is where it gets really weird too. Okay. People all the time. There's a place called Kamchatka, I think it's pronounced, Peninsula. It's right outside the tip where we were talking about here, where North America meets with Asia. Russia controls it. It's kind of a peninsula, and there are these massive bears that people have been hunting for years. There's actually kind of like an old kind of folk tale in that area called, they call them the God Bear or the Bulldog Bear, depending. And there's these giant bears that these people up until today talk about that roam around this peninsula. Okay. So people are like, what the heck's going on? That news kind of hits. People start doing research, realizing that these things are crazy. Mind you, they would walk on two legs quite a bit because they were not pigeon-toed like most common bears.
Yeah.
And people started putting dots together. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bigfoot footage.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bigfoot footage.
Yeah.
But lot of
he's got like long arms and
long limbs.
Doing the stooping shit when he's walking.
9 feet tall. I mean, you're in the woods, you're freaking out. I mean, 15 feet, 9 feet. I mean, that's a pretty big difference. But I mean, that's what they're saying that the old bears could reach in the Ice Age days.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people theorizing that Bigfoot is actually an offshoot subspecies of the original giant short-faced bear that's roaming in this peninsula of Russia, and then has migrated and has expanded and into northern woods in Michigan, Canada, Washington, British, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So people are actually theorizing that this bear technically isn't extinct anymore, and it's actually, in fact, Bigfoot.
That is insane.
I want to see it. Let's go Bigfoot hunting.
Do you think if there is if there is more, do you think there's more than one Bigfoot?
If Bigfoot exists, 100%.
Okay, so that means that they're not that rare enough to where two of them couldn't find each other and bang.
how do they find each other if we can't find them?
That's what I'm saying. If we're thinking they're so rare that like we barely ever even see one, how are there two and how are they reproducing to make more?
True, but just like any other species and animals, they have specific calls. Think about bats. How do bats mate? You don't ever see fucking bats mate or hear them mate, but they call to each other.
I guess. Yeah, true. Yeah,
they call to each other. They have mating signals, bro. Like,
true.
Who's to say?
I wonder what it sounds like.
Random British Columbia, there's crazy fucking, Bigfoot's calling out. They hook up for the night, bang it out. You got a little baby Bigfoot.
That's nuts, dude. I kind of want a baby Bigfoot.
But like I said, that's kind of tying it together with kind of our podcast topic. If anybody's interested in the actual like original species of the giant short-faced bear, it's 100% proven in museums. Like they have renderings of it. It's a phenomenal creature, bro.
Dude, that's so crazy. Animals are nuts, dude.
Dude, bizarre, dude. That's why I love them. Like I love researching animals, man.
Dude, speaking about research, though, Grits, what do you got for us today?
Oh boy, so we're keeping it in the woods. However, we're moving it a bit south, boys. So we're no longer in the pines. We're no longer in the firs or the redwoods. Now we're in the jungle, baby.
Goddamn! Welcome to the jungle, baby.
We're moving it way down to Central America. But first, before we go there, we have to go to Europe.
Arkansas?
Not Arkansas. We're going to Europe because Chris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, two best friends, about 21 years old or so, in 2014, they're both Dutch, by the way. In 2014, they're like, hey, let's work all year. We'll get these jobs. We're going to save up a ton of money and we're going to go to Panama. And we're going to like hike the like entirety of Panama, just doing random odd jobs while we're there. We have some skill sets we can offer the indigenous. We can, work in schools and teach English and stuff like that. Let's just do it. So they did. They saved up a bunch of money. And in 2014, Chris Kremers and Lisanne Froon, they both went to Panama and they backpacked around for quite a bit, doing exactly that, working these odd jobs. And then after like a month, I think, they found like a host family that lived in this one city in Panama. I think it was called Boquete. And the family was like, yeah, we'll host you for exchange, or just work around the house. We have like goats and stuff or whatever. Tend to the goats. You can stay here. We'll host you, feed you, work for us. So they're like, okay. So they do that for a little bit, right? And one day comes up and Chris and Lisanne are like, we're going to go to this gigantic forest that's in this town in Panama and we're going to hike it. We want to like go through the jungle. There's like a good amount of trail. It's not too rustic. There's a lot of, there's a lot of not paved, but like pathened way through the forest. So they're like, we're going to go hike this. So they let the family know. They're like, hey, we're going to hike this. And we're hiking through the woods, through the jungle to this point. And on our way back, a tour guide has agreed to take us a different route back through the jungle. They're like, the family's like, all right, see you soon. And up until this point, Chris and Lisanne would text or call their parents back in Europe every, so often, like very frequent updates. So they go and they hike and they have a digital camera between the two of them, just one. They're snapping selfies along the way. They're going through the jungle. They're hiking. They're seeing waterfalls. They're seeing rock faces, cliffs, big banana leaves, you name it. Everything you can imagine that's in the jungle. A few hours go by. There's no word back at the host house. A few more hours go by. No update has been given to the parents, which is a little uncharacteristic of them. Whole day goes by, still nothing. After days and days go by, now everybody's worried. The host family who had the parents' information of Lisanne and Chris, finally called them. But by this time, the parents already knew something was up, you know. But now they have an official word from the family. Hey, the daughters are missing. We haven't heard from them. They went on a hike. Immediately launched an investigation. So at this point, it had been about a week before there were actually boots in the jungle looking for him. So you have the Panama police. I think the parents might have showed up. Everybody's in the jungle looking around. Weather was pretty inclement. Nobody seen anything. So they ended up calling it off, and then just the police went back out. Nothing. So after maybe like a month or so, maybe two, a indigenous woman is just going through the jungle off kind of like a beaten path. She was next to a river. She finds a backpack. Inside the backpack were Chris and Lisanne's underwear, personal effects, a digital camera, shoes, and some more clothing, things of that nature. Just, it looked like a very neatly packed backpack full of their shit. So the woman takes all of that, brings it to the Panama police. She's like, I think this is those two missing girls, those two Dutch girls. So immediately the search is called back on. They're like, oh, we got evidence. Let's get back out there and look. So they go back out and they end up finding a shoe, a hiking boot, rather, with a foot still in it.
Oh, what fuck.
It's Lisanne's.
Oh, no.
They also find a pelvis bone, bleached white.
Oh.
It's Chris Kremmer's.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
So at this point, they make the call. Chris and Lisanne have been deceased for quite a while, maybe a month at this point. And the Panama police were pretty quick to like rule out any foul play. They kind of chalked it up to got lost in the jungle, bodies scavenged by wildlife. But here's where it gets weird, man, because to this day, the Panama police are being scrutinized by the lack of care in the case. There's so many plot holes, so many unsolved mysteries. They take a look at the images from the digital camera that were snapped by Chris and Lisanne, and they're numbered 1 through whatever, however many they took. Start out cheery, selfies and stuff. Then you can start to see they get lost. You can start to see like the daylight fade. You can see them like snapping photos of like maybe a familiar tree or something. There's some speculation that maybe they were trying to like remember a track, so they would snap a photo. And it gets dark, pitch dark, and you just see these like random snaps in the dark.
That's terrifying.
More speculation, maybe saying that they were trying to illuminate the darkness with the flash of the camera. However, that hasn't been proven. Nobody knows why they were flashing in the dark. And then there was like a close-up. These are all images you can look up, by the way. There was like another close-up of Chris Kremmer's like hair, like her head. Maybe they were trying to see if she had an injury on her head or something. And but they were numbered 1 through whatever. And a few of the photos have been deleted because it would go from like image 7 to like image 10 or whatever. And it would do that a few times. So they took it to like a forensic photography expert or whatever, you know, the kind that like work on murder cases and stuff. They determined that the images probably like 90% weren't deleted by Chris and Lisanne because there were other useless images on the camera that would have been deleted. Like
by them.
Them. Like, let's say an unflattering photo of Chris was there, you know, maybe they would have deleted that. There were like some useless images of like nothing. They would have deleted that. So the theory of they were just deleting useless images doesn't really hold water because there were like tons of those. So the girls' cell phones were found on the torn clothes that were accompanied by like the boot and the pelvis bone and stuff. They were able to look up like the last signals and the last like outgoing calls and stuff. They tried for a week straight to call 911, both in Europe and in Panama, to no avail because there was no signal. And they would frequently turn on, check signal, and turn off their cell phones for a week straight. However, after about the week mark, so 7 days or so, a number of incorrect PIN code entries was entered on one of the girls' cell phones to the point where it locked them out on an iPhone. Yeah. That was on April 11th. So that was 11 days, actually, they had been missing. A bunch of incorrect PIN codes entered and then locked out. No one knows why.
Damn.
There's also some foul play speculation because 2 years earlier, an American tourist did the same thing, went into the same jungle, went missing, and he wasn't found for like a year or something. It was like a huge amount of time. He died, of course, but they found like 90% of his body. It wasn't scavenged by animals. It wasn't thrown miles throughout the jungle. By the way, some of the body parts of Lisanne and Chris were found like miles apart from each other. So they were saying like, yeah, in the same forest, like this, like one other dude died and like wasn't like ripped apart. Also, his bones were sitting out in the open for like a year straight and they weren't bleached, whereas their bones, Chris and Lisanne's, were bleached white. There was phosphorus residue on the bones, meaning that there might have been some tampering. It's a frequent chemical found in lye, which disposes bodies, and lye also causes bones to be bleached white. Forensics say it would take like a long time for bones to be bleached white if they were just sitting in straight sunlight.
Yeah, that's what got me, dude. You're like, it's bleached. And I was like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
like,
man. What? It was only like a month or two when their dead bodies had been sitting there. That other dude was like dead for a year and his bones weren't even bleached white. Also, a main suspect was the tour guide they were supposed to meet. Apparently, he had like a hatred for white people, Germans, Europeans, Americans. And he would like refuse to like do any kind of dealings with them. He would, but in this case, like he agreed to take Chris and Lisanne for a tour. He also would like dip and not do any interviews and stuff. He would like not get questioned by the police. And I guess he had connections to like a cartel. I don't know, dude. But to this day, man, poor Lisanne and Chris, the mystery remains unsolved to the minds of many, other than the Panama police, who ruled it as an accidental death.
Accidental, yeah.
Pretty much everybody does not buy that because there's just so many holes and so many crazy shit. Yeah, so don't go into the jungle alone, man.
Fuck Panama.
Fucking Panama, dude. Fucking jungle, man. But anyway,
that was crazy, bro. What the fuck? I don't know,
that does
man.
it for the 3 Creepy Woods stories. Thanks for sticking around and listening to another episode of Plastic Lounge Podcast, where we dive deep into the mysteries and the unknowns of the world.
I want to thank everyone that's been enjoying these. We're recently switching up our content. So if you do like this content, let us know in the comments. It really helps us out. We get to see what you guys want to see from us. So just let us know.
Let us know, man. We're here for you. We're here to have a good time, not a long time. It doesn't make sense.
What? I hope a long time.
We're here for a long time and a good time.
Anyway, subscribe to us. We're going to be going. Bye.